And we're back at our sewing machine, getting ready to sew our hem. Now this couldn't be easier, it's just straight. Arguably the trickiest thing is to keep this hem equidistant from the edge. In other words, make sure that we always keep the same distance. So I'm going to use this little thing here, which is a seam guard, which will help me, so I can basically just run the fabric against that thing, and then that's where I will be sewing. Gives me an idea of where to go. So without further ado, increase the stitch length, and here we go. Forget to move your pins out of the way as you go along. And apart from that, just keep sewing. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to do a double line of stitches here, and I'm starting with the one that's furthest from the hem. It's not strictly needed, you could start with the most inner one, but just how I prefer it. There we go, that's our hem. Now we're going to do a second line of stitches. Here too, gotta be careful to keep it equidistant. There's two ways we can do this. We can adapt our seam guard, or we can run our stitches next to the previous line of stitches, which is my preferred way to do it. So let's just do that. Because this fabric stretches, and this is a needle feed machine, our hem might not lie exactly flat. I'll iron it later, but that's the downside of doing knitwear with a straight stitch machine. And we're done, so you can see on the inside we got a double row of stitches here, and this extra we will just cut off, because that's one of the nice things about knitwear, it doesn't ravel. So we'll just cut it off close enough, like 2 millimeters or so from that furthest stitch, and then our hem will be done. We're going to be doing the same thing on our sleeves next.